So today, I was thinking to just maybe share with us about boundaries or setting boundaries as an individual and setting boundaries as a person in your life. Have you ever met people, maybe colleagues at work or church mates or schoolmates or relatives or people like that? When you look at their lives, you wonder, why are they always just allowing everything, everyone in their spaces? When do they have me time? When do they have time to do their own stuff and just be on their own, think on their own, make decisions on their own, and things like that? You see, in life, boundaries are very important. And I believe even God Himself has boundaries. He doesn't just allow us when we commit ourselves to Him, He does not allow His children to just do everything. And that is why the Bible says, there is a scripture, I won't remember it exactly, but it says that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. That simply means it's you to choose. You have freedom to choose what to do and what not to do. So you weigh which one benefits me more, which one should I go for, and which one should I let go. That is boundary. Boundaries are very, very important in our lives. And one, we need to understand that boundaries are simply rules and limits we set for ourselves to protect our emotions, to protect our space, to protect our peace, to protect everything that is around us. And boundaries make people know how to treat you. Okay, I'll say it the way I wrote it down. Boundaries define what is okay with you and what is not okay with you. And in those boundaries, it depicts how people will treat you. Because you are the one who has set the rules. It is you who has decided, this is what I will allow up to this extent, and this is not what I want as a person in my life at any time, at all costs. So it's you to decide, what do I want, what is okay with me, and what is not okay with me. And it's okay to do that. It's not a bad thing. Though most times we always look at those people who have decided to set boundaries for themselves, who have decided to have those kind of rules and protection of their space. We look at them as people who maybe are building up walls, or people maybe who don't like people, something like that. But when you dig deeper and you look at such people, they're just setting boundaries. They just have rules, for themselves. They decide when they tell you, you know what, I think I'm not comfortable going with you at this particular time. And they stick to that. That is a boundary someone has set for themselves. So boundaries are important because one, they protect your peace. And two, they teach others how to treat you. Okay? So if you are someone who just allows any Tom, Dick, and Harry in your space, that is how people will treat you. Because there are people you meet outside and you see how people are treating them, and they're not saying anything, they're not speaking up, they're not defending themselves, they're not even standing for themselves, they're just there allowing everyone to walk on them like a doormat. And you wonder, what is wrong with these people? It's because they have lacked the power of setting boundaries. So they don't have the capacity to even say no to some things. So when someone comes and a left, they move. Go to the right, they move. Jump up, jump again. They still do that because they don't have the power to say no. And it starts there. And another thing maybe I'll just mention is, when you want to be someone, or when you want to cultivate a discipline of setting boundaries in your life, You don't wait until you're 30. You don't wait until you're 35 or 40. You start as young, as early as possible. Okay? When you are 10 years old, when you are 15 years old, when you are 20, when you are 25, 22, that is when you need to start learning the skill or cultivating the discipline of building or setting boundaries for yourself. Because people will want you to fix you in their schedules. People will want to use you, you know, at their benefit. People will want you to do things for them. So if you don't start developing the art of setting boundaries or saying no as early as possible, then everyone will want you to fix you in their schedule. Everyone will want to use you anyhow and any way they want to. But when you master that art as early as possible, you won't feel guilty of telling someone, look, thank you so much for your invitation, but unfortunately, I'm engaged up to this time of the evening, so I'll not be available. But next time, I'll be available. And you will not feel guilty about it because it is something that you're used to doing. Now, there are so many types of boundaries or so many aspects of a human being that we need to protect. And we can only protect those aspects when we learn how to set boundaries. And one of those aspects is our emotions, the way we feel, you know, we need to protect that. We don't just allow people to ruin your mood anytime and anyhow they want, and you can't say anything about it. You don't just allow people, you know, to mess up with your emotions and destabilize your mental health, and you're not saying anything about it. You need to be in a position to tell people, you know what? I don't like the way you've said that. Okay? And speak up for yourself. Or you need to be in a position to tell people, I don't have the grace to speak about whatever you want me to speak about now. Please give me more time. When I'm ready, I'm going to share more about it. It is okay to say that. And no one is going to bulldoze you. No one is going to force you to do anything because you learned the art of setting boundaries. Time, you know, each and every one of us has 24 hours a day. And people out there are so much willing to make you and drag you into their schedules and force you to do things for them. So you need to be in a position to say, listen, I'm not available. I can't do this at this time because of A, B, and C. I'm not able to do this. Your time unataka tukutane, sita make because of A, B, and C. You say it respectfully, you say it gracefully, and you're okay with that. You don't feel guilty at all for saying that. We have physical boundaries, we have spiritual boundaries, you know. You don't just allow anyone to touch you anyhow you want. And this one, maybe it's for maybe the young people mostly who are still, you know, growing, because they meet other peers out there and people feel they have the authority to just touch you anyhow and any way they want. You need to set boundaries for your body. It is okay to say, I don't hug. I don't do hugs anymore. Just a handshake, and that is okay. No bad blood. Is just setting boundaries, because people have reasons why they don't do things and why they do things. There is always a reason behind every behavior and every decision that we make. So we need to teach ourselves to have those boundaries. I remember one time in campus, there was this guy who kind of, I think, had a crush on me. So he thought he'll just go out there, drink himself, you know, and then get to the hostel and find me doing my own things and then just touch me anyhow he wanted. So I remember that time he kind of touched me on my behind, and I was so angry. I felt so bad, and I confronted him immediately. And I asked him, why would you do that? Why would you touch my butt without my permission. I felt so bad, and I felt like that was kind of infringing into my privacy, and I didn't like that. And we had to talk about it that particular time. So he went like, oh, I like you, but you're too hard to get. You're doing nini. I'm like, no. There is no reason whatsoever that you will give me or give anyone to just justify touching their body or doing things with their body the way you want to without their permission. Consent is very important, and that is where the place of consent comes in. Why do we have so many young people are being raped, being assaulted and all that? Because these young people, when you dig deeper and just maybe do a little bit more of research, these are people who don't have the capacity to stand for themselves and speak up and say, no, I will not allow this, and stand for that no. Or just say, you cannot do that to me, you cannot touch me that way. And they're comfortable doing that. There are people who are kind of a bit timid, a bit, hawana ile courage ya kujiongea, and mostly they end up being victims of that. I'm not saying all the victims are of the same character of timidity. No, I'm just saying the majority, okay? Because most of those predators, they fear someone who speaks up. They fear someone when yako so out there, anajijua, anajitambua, they don't like that kind of person. So they target the, timid ones, cute, and hawana story mingi, vitu kaa hizo. So we need to teach ourselves. And even if you're a parent or you are a sibling and you have younger siblings behind you, or you have friends, teach them the art of setting boundaries. Tell them no is a complete sentence, okay? It is not a word, it is complete. When you tell someone no, it's a no, okay? So even spiritual boundaries are also important, because spirituality is an important aspect of every being's and human being's life. So if you have, the discipline of setting boundaries around your spirituality, it's very important. You guard it with all that you have. You tell people, okay, because of my spirituality, I will not go for that activity. I will not come for that event. It is okay to say that, because you are protecting one of the aspects of your life, and it is very, very healthy to do that. So my final thoughts on this is boundaries should not push people away, okay? But they should just protect. They should give you the capacity to love, serve, and live with people peacefully, but with limits up to this extent. Okay, you can, like, for instance, it is okay, you can visit me in my house, but you can't do A, B, and C in my house, okay? You are setting a boundary, and it's okay to that. And you are not building a wall. Si ati unafungia watu nje, you don't want any social life. No. We've said setting boundaries is not about that. It's about protecting your space, protecting your peace, protecting your mind, your emotions, your body, and every other aspect of your life. So I just want to encourage us to cultivate that art, because it's a very important art, and it even shapes you and shapes your path and how you do things and how people treat you, and it makes life a good life, okay? If this video has been of value to you, feel free to share with your friends and your loved ones. See you in the next video. Ciao.